Obsidian People. Let everybody know what you're about, Miss Joella.
Well, my name is Joella Simmons. I'm the school leader for Hope Learning Academy. Hope Learning Academy is a community school or a charter school located in Toledo, Ohio. We specialize in helping students with exceptional learning needs. So, what that means is we help students who may have IEPs, they may be one or two grade levels below, or they have any other learning disabilities that may hinder them for progressing in a traditional classroom. So we provide small classroom sizes, individualized learning, and a personalized approach for their education.
That's cool. Yeah, but look at you. You've always been really good with kids anyway, so I can't see you doing anything else but what you're doing right now.
Oh my
'Cause
goodness.
you are so good with kids. Like you're good in everything else, but you're so really good. You were daycare work. You did your own daycare for a long time.
I did. I kind of fell into that so a little bit of my background. I started off with my bachelor's degree in marketing, wanting to go into marketing and business, which I still have a love and passion for that. But I always feel like kids just almost followed me. It was just drawn to me. Um, when I had my second child, I wanted to be at home with him. So looked into like what career changes I could make so that I can spend more time with him. And that led me to opening my own daycare. From that, it grew. Then I had the opportunity to help start up a new Head Start program in the Toledo area. And so I was a director for the Head Start program for quite a few years, which then led to the opportunity that I've had now as a principal for a K through 8 school.
Yeah, that is cool. Like it just kind of followed you all the way up.
It did. I like to say that, I didn't choose to be a principal. It wasn't necessarily like a lifelong dream or something that I sought out there. I seen the opportunity of how I could take this path, but it was really the grace of God. I feel like God aligned everything for me and put everything in order for me to be where I am.
And that's perfect because it's definitely you. The way if you guys see her with her kids and my kids, it is just so freaking cute. Oh, I love you guys so bad. Um, so you kind of got into how your steps took you to become a principal. So how do you feel about that? Like now, like what right now is leading you to this, principal role?
Right now, a lot of prayer. Honestly, it's tough right now with the pandemic, and trying to lead the school and kind of just the state of everyone and everything right now. It kind of trying to find the right words, but everything is just harder right now. So to keep me going and keep me motivated is a daily prayer. Is believing that God led me to be here for a reason and that I'm doing His work. So even when I get kind of clouded in my judgment and unmotivated, that's what I have to lean on to keep going, and knowing that my presence in the building is making a difference for the individual kids that I have an opportunity to interact with, as well as with the staff. You know, it makes, I have to believe that it's me being here that's going to make the difference.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you are. I've witnessed it. You have really led this school, and it's a really, because of that, I think the school is going to be very, successful with you being there as their leader. Um, well, tell me a little bit how you manage your home life and school life. Because not only are you dealing with kids at school, then you have to come home and get there.
It is an all day thing. It's funny with my son, he just started on a soccer team and they were looking for coaches. And they asked, "What do you want to coach?" And I'm like, I can't. I'm with kids all day and come home with kids. My extracurricular cannot be that. But it is
You just got little kids running around. Miss
right.
Joella, Miss Joella.
Right. But it's hard to sit there and not want to like help and not want to like interject. But
Well,
Everybody has their role.
it's so funny that you say that because you're really good with the kids at school. You're really good with your kids, and then here we come with my four, and then we interrupt all.
No, but I absolutely love your kids like my own. Like I tell people that all the time. Like your kids can come over, come around, and they just all just mesh so well and just fit right in. It's never, ever, ever a burden. You know, if anything, it's like, oh yeah, they coming over. Here come the Harpers. Let them come on
No,
over.
the
You
kids.
know.
It seems like the kids love it.
Yeah.
Do you
I
have?
mean, I don't think in all of the years there's never been one time or one incident where it's been like, well, maybe not. Like, no, we absolutely adore your kids.
Oh yeah, yeah. The same. Likewise, you need us to be there. We're gonna be right there. It's like, come on, heck yeah, bring those kids over here. Like, okay, so do you have any tips for moms of how to like separate work life from home life?
Okay, yes. So to answer your first question, so it's really hard for me because my job is such a big responsibility. Um, a lot of it, it's easy to carry home, whether it's working late, working on things at home, or sometimes just like the emotional burdens of the day or the other kids to carry that home. So I have to be very intentional with what I do at work. So I have a schedule at work. I prioritize what I need to do with the top. I usually have a list of about 4 or 5 things that I need to get done that day, and then kind of leave room for everything else to happen as it may happen. And by me having a schedule and a list at work, it ensures that I'm doing what I need to do. I give myself grace at work, and when I'm at work, I'm focused on the kids, the staff, and who's in front of me. I'm able to kind of give it my all because I have a great support system at home. So that's tip number one, would be having that support system at home. My husband is amazing. Um, we split the responsibilities on every level. Having good child care for my youngest when she goes to school. I'm not worried about what's happening. It's reliable. Um, and just really having that support system, my mom, you guys, my friends, anybody that we would need to help support the kids. I don't have to worry about what's happening with them when I'm at work. So then when I come home, I leave every day at 3, we get off at 3:40. I leave at 3:40. I make sure that my work day is over when it's time. It is so easy for me to be able to stay over unless I have a board meeting or like a one-off situation where it'll go in the afternoon. I leave when it's time to go. And when I walk through the door, my whole focus is on my kids and my family. It's kind of put the work stuff aside. And sometimes that's really, really hard to do, but I have to do it for my kids. And we sit down, my first 15 minutes at home, I check in with each one of my 3 kids and ask them about their day and have a full conversation with them of what they want to tell me. And if my husband is off work and at home, I'll talk to him about his day. So that's like, as soon as I'm home, my focus is on them. So kind of giving them their time would be my second tip. And then we kind of have a very loose routine. After we have our check-in, we'll cook dinner. The kids will do their chores. And then the rest of the afternoon is kind of, everybody has their own time to unwind, do whatever they need to do, whether it's soccer practice, whether it's me trying to exercise, the kids just kind of kicking back and doing what they need to do. Of course, after homework, but so then every Friday we do a family movie night, and the kids really look forward to that Friday night. We'll order pizza and whatever new movie is out on Disney or something like that, we'll sit as a family and kind of have that time. And that's carved in every Friday. And the kids, they look forward to it now. They're like, it's Friday, it's pizza night, So my third tip is to have a family routine, whether that's a weekly routine that you're looking into or a daily thing that you're doing. But most importantly, I would say giving yourself grace. Like you can't juggle it all the time. You can only really focus on what's in front of you. And when you're focusing on kind of with juggling, right? If you're focusing on one thing, something else is kind of left out there. You have to be okay with what's left out there. I don't put the pressure on myself anymore to, oh my gosh, my house got to be clean every single day. The dishes got to be done, all the laundry, all this long to-do list of stuff to do. And I find myself being more frustrated trying to do those to-do things. I'll let those things go until an appropriate time, when I have the time and energy to focus on those things. But focusing on my kids, focusing on our routine, just one thing at a time.
Yeah, that's very important with being a mom and running a whole school.
Yeah.
Being a mom,
Right.
working, and trying to run a business. You have to carve out time for yourself, for your kids, for your spouse, for your friends, which sometimes that is hard.
Yeah, that can be really hard.
We may see each other maybe once a month, maybe. Sometimes we go months without seeing each other.
Right. But it's important when we do have the opportunity to connect, it's about us in that moment.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you guys are over visiting, but I need to get this email out real quick. I need to finish doing this work. It's like, no, you have my undivided attention. And that's how you find peace in life too. And it's like, it's okay if everything's not done on your to-do list. It's okay, if you didn't fold all the laundry today. Like
kick it in the corner like I do.
You will be okay. But enjoy, that time, I think, with the people that you love is most important. And then when you're at work, focusing on the important things. I think that helps for work. One thing I did recently was kind of reflecting on, where am I spending my time and my energy when I'm at work, so that I want to be productive, but I don't want to just be busy all day, because it's literally a trillion things that I can do within a day. So it's like, what's important? And I went through my to-do list and I kind of checked off like the must-haves, like this, I have to do this thing or it will not work. And then I checked off things that I can delegate to other people. And then I went through my my calendar schedule and looked at the things that I'm doing each day, how my day is set up, and making sure that I'm leaving room for things to happen, for me just to be present, for me to just take things as they come and not like literally fill my day with tasks. And it kind of helped me get some clarity on what's important. And it helped narrow that 5 list might be 3 things that I really need to make sure I get done that day. And it just takes so much stress away if I know I got those 3 things done versus trying to conquer the world in a given day. Because the work will never stop. It'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, don't I know? That's well, I have some things coming out pretty soon, a planner that's the reason why I did it. Because it was the same exact thing. It was, separating, work and home life, and making sure that the things that I need to get done in the business was getting done, because the business is growing very fast.
Absolutely.
It's growing very fast, and I enjoy it. And I want to keep that joy of what I do at work, what I do at home, and what I do in my side hustle. So The only way you can find peace is if you keep track of what you're doing and don't freak out.
Right. I think that's the key. You were telling me about your planner, and I think it's an awesome thing. What was the name of it? You said the top 3?
It is the top 3
power. Go ahead and plug it, girl.
Top 3 power planner.
Okay, there you go. So that's kind of the same premise of narrowing down the top 3 things that's most important to you in that day.
And that's the reason why I made it, is because it's also a self-care type of thing. It's a self-care type of thing. It's not just task, appointment. It's okay, having you some affirmations so you keep yourself motivated. And then you have your top 3 that's telling you these are the 3 things that need to get done right now. And then you have, what else I have here? I think I have your to-do list. And
Mm-hmm.
I always say that to-do list is stuff that you can do anytime during the week. If it don't work out, put it on the next page.
Yep, exactly.
Put it on the next page. And then at the end, I find myself at night, there's a little space that I put down at the bottom where you can write about how you feel about completing those tasks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you feel good about completing the task that you've done? Don't worry about it. Giving yourself a little inspiration. So that's the reason why I did it, is because of me and women like you that are just busy,
Right.
pounding the ground, doing what they need to do.
Right. I think it's really important that you have that reflection piece. Like, we have to remember to stop and reflect, and really not to so much be caught up in your feelings, but think about how those tasks make you feel. Because if it's something that you're doing every single day and you're dreading it, absolutely like hating it, that's bringing negative energy into your life, and that's going to manifest itself with a negative attitude. It's going to draw more negative experiences. So you need to be able to look at what you're doing, and is it lining up with like who you are, what you want to accomplish, and how it's making you feel. And if it doesn't, you need to take it off your to-do list, delegate it, find someone else that can do that thing for you if it's something that must be done, but not just to do stuff just to be busy, or just to, say I'm a great mom and I got it all figured out because I, have this tight schedule every single day and I do all of these things every single day. That's not what makes it.
It's not realistic. That's
right.
not.
And you're only hurting yourself. You're only bumming yourself out.
For no
yourself. Yep. That's the burnout,
Okay, we're gonna switch gears and we're gonna talk a little bit about your school. We got a lot about yourself, so my OPC posse could get a touch of who you are and why you are my girlfriend. What are the most important attributes that a parent needs to work on with their kids in your school?
Okay. And my school specifically, or just like general that most parents do? Okay, because I think my school we're very unique in the needs of our kids. And it could apply to most parents, but I would say communication let me clarify, I'm sorry. And are you asking about like the attributes as far as connecting them with the school, or like just to prepare their kid, like
to prepare their kids?
Okay. I think the social emotional part is really, really important, and it doesn't stop at, like, when we think of social emotional learning, you think of preschool, first grade, second grade, but those skills need to be built, all the way through eighth grade, probably even into high school. More in high school, they start to be set into who they are, but it's important for them to know how to communicate and how to advocate for themselves and what they need, and building relationships with their peers. And it's so important for them to have that and have friendships and have connections in school, because it will help them have better experiences, be able to network and make school more enjoyable for themselves. A lot of times, you might have parents who they're like, I want you to stay out of trouble. You're going to go to school. You're only focusing on yourself, which is good. Those are all like really, really good things, but being able to connect with other people is important as well. And then advocating for themselves, of course, if they're facing bullying, if they're having challenges. But a lot of times kids might struggle academically and they're afraid to speak up to the teacher. Yes. And I find that I would say about 98% of the time, if a kid is struggling with something and they speak up to the teacher or the adult, that problem is almost always eliminated, or the teacher is able to offer more grace. But it's the kids that just kind of keep it to themselves and let it out at home, and the teachers have no clue that there's a problem.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it's also important for the parents to talk to their kids to understand, okay, mom, I'm having this problem, being aware of those problems and getting with the teacher and saying, hey, we're having these problems. What can we do together and collaborate to help get through it.
Absolutely. That collaboration and communication with the school and the parent is so essential to the success of your child. And then your child feeling comfortable both ways too. I find that when a parent supports their kids in school, like, you go to a good school, oh my gosh, I love your teacher. Like, if the parent is speaking positively about the school and about an education experience altogether, those kids do better.
Yeah.
So think,
we know that firsthand.
Right.
Read my notes here because I got some really good questions for you. Okay. What teaching methods is more important and effective on how parents incorporate at home?
Okay, so I think it's important that parents get to know their child's learning styles. That's something that in school we teach a lot for the teachers to individualize and be able to differentiate for each student. At my particular school, we're able to do that because we have no more than 10 kids in any classroom. So the individualization is almost there by default. And the kids are, on a different range so much that it's easy to get to. But I think parents could apply that same concept to their kids and understand that what might have worked for your oldest child, what might even have worked for you, does not work for your middle child or your younger child. You really have to differentiate for them and give, a different approach in how you support them with their schoolwork. My two, perfect example, my oldest is very self-led in his work. He comes home, he does his homework, he does exactly what he's supposed to do. I could almost not even check on him, right? I mean, I do, but if I didn't, I would be 100% assured that he would do everything that he needs to do without my guidance. My second, not so much. If I don't ask, it doesn't exist.
Yep.
If I don't show him, he won't do it. We have to break it down one thing at a time to ensure that everything gets done. So it's more like a hands-on. And that's kind of like his learning as well. He can't just hear it once, read it once, and get it. He needs that. He needs modeling. He needs practice. He needs extra. So as a parent, I need to understand that these two boys need two totally different things. It requires two totally different amounts of energy. And I need to be able to give them that. And then the next step would be kind of watching their school life and making sure that that's happening at school as well. If I understand his learning style, I can communicate that to his teacher. So when she's saying, oh, we're having issues with this, and that, I can give her like strategies that work at home. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes. I mean, it's teamwork. I know a lot of parents don't really talk to the teacher as much as they should.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a very protective parent, you're like, hey, there's some issues. We need to talk.
Right. But don't talk to them just when it's issues. If you start that conversation and that relationship far before there's issues, it's going to be way easier to like navigate what's happening, For my second, he's very like shy and quiet when he first comes in. So one of the first things I do at open house when I meet his teachers, I tell them like, he's really shy and he's not going to speak up. You're going to have to go directly to him and ask him questions face to face to get a response for him and build a relationship with him. Whether they know it or not, whether they take that information, as a parent, I'm advocating for him to say like, this is who my child is and how he is, and this is what he needs from you.
And, I think he's in grade school, right?
Yep. In 4th grade.
Gosh, yeah, him and Harlem. And that's the thing. Like Harlem, he knows what he needs to do, and he does it. He has his sisters, and they go over his spelling words and stuff with him, and then we'll go over them with him. We make sure that he reads and he do everything that he's supposed to do. It's a little different when you get into high school. I have, Maddie is a high schooler. Jazzy is a high schooler, and then you have a junior high is Jordy. And
Right. I can't believe she's in junior high.
I look at her, it's like, oh my gosh, you look like a fifth grader. But there, and you're right, the learning between all four of them is totally different. Totally different. And so, like with Madison, she goes in, she knows exactly what she needs to do, she knows how to accomplish it, she gets it done. And I check on her work, but like you said, I can just like, okay, I know that you got it done. With Jazz, it's a little different. She needs everything slowed down just a little bit, a little more concentration, and kind of getting things situated and task oriented. And so working to get her to understand, okay, high school is a little different.
Yeah.
High school is much harder. So we're constantly working different aspects of how she can study and how she can read and how things can, get her. Oh, I remember that. Oh, okay. And not having the jitters with testing. I was horrible at testing. I could know something, but when I got to that test, everything left.
Right.
Anxiety. And a lot of parents have to understand that sometimes your kid has anxiety when they get.
Absolutely. So knowing what your kid needs, especially in high school, they're not going to, at least in my high school experience, the teachers, they're not holding your hand. They're not like you either did your work or you didn't. They start to develop like those individual skills that you need to develop. So as a parent, you need to what Jazzy needs, so you're giving her the tools and you're walking with her to do it. You're not assuming that she's going to be like Maddie and just figure it out.
Right.
And like that's the key.
Yeah.
And she'll be successful. She'll have that, and her learning how to advocate for herself and telling the teachers like, hey, I get nervous when I have tests. So the next step would be find some strategies that she can implement and then share those strategies with all of her teachers. Now, maybe you don't have all of her teachers' email to say, make sure Jazzy does ... beforehand. But if you teach her to talk to her teacher after school, hey, Miss So-and-so, I know I have this test coming up and I'm really nervous and I've been studying, but can I do whatever it is she needs? Like I need to have a fidget when I'm taking the test to help me remember. I need to chew gum. Can I take the test for 10 minutes and then like take a break for 10 minutes? And then, her being able to advocate for herself like that, there's not a teacher that would say no to that if you do it correctly.
Yeah. And that's, working with kids, like having 4 different personalities. Teaching them at young ages to speak up.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard, especially when you're in a classroom full of people and everyone's looking at you. You're like, but I always reiterate with all of my kids, please, I don't care. They're there to help teach you.
Absolutely.
Make sure you ask those questions. If you don't understand something, take time and after class and say, hey, I really need help with this. Could you help me understand that? Just taking the initiative, that says a whole lot.
My gosh, that in my personal experience, and I've also witnessed it with teachers, it was when I remember in college going to a professor and saying like, I really don't understand this. I'm really struggling. They gave me some help and gave me some tips, went to go take the test, bombed the test. But the teacher was like, I know you bombed this test, but because you told me you were struggling with this, I'm going to let you retake it, or, giving me the opportunity. Had I never had that conversation,
you would have never.
I would have just failed the test, and it would have been like, oh, she didn't study. She didn't, So that's honestly what taught me that, how it took all the way to college, to figure that out. But it was like, wow, really saying something and speaking up really makes the difference. And then now I see, being a principal, those kids who are speaking up for themselves and talking to the teacher and showing like, hey, I really want to understand this. There's a whole lot more grace given.
I know. So here we are at our last and final question. I'm loving this whole conversation. What goals are you looking forward to accomplish with your job and in your personal life?
Okay. Well, my personal mission or purpose in life is to teach and inspire. So this school year, the last school years have been really, really hard. So this school year, I really hope to like lighten things up and be like an inspiration to my teachers and to my students. Um, Help inspire them by just enjoying the little moments and finding things to celebrate, no matter how small it could be, no matter, if it's big for individuals, like celebrating those moments so that we can be inspired together to keep going throughout all this craziness.
Yes, this is a whole different thing than we ever had to do.
Right. So it's kind of just trying to find the joy in the mess and in the craziness. And my goal in my personal life with my kids this year, we wanted to just spend. I mean, we spent a lot of time together, but um, doing new events, new adventures, traveling a little bit more, kind of seeing the world. And exposing them to more. I mean, we spent a lot of time in our backyard, so I want to expand upon that.
Yeah, which is absolutely wonderful. Well, I thank you for, coming here on my channel and talking a little bit about you and your school. I'm hoping that this information will help any one of you guys. I will link all her information in the description box. And you'll probably get a little something right over here somewhere. But also, um, I have a little short blog that kind of runs down the, school aspect and little quotes from Joella, and all her information will be in the blog. So be sure when you are checking out our YouTubes that you are also looking at those blogs and supporting me and getting our lovely people out here so we know what's going on, get some tips, some gifts, and be blessed, less stress.
Well, thank you.